What is up, MMA True Believers? I am Jason Burgos for Sherdog.com, and I am joined by a participant on Bellator's December 20th Salute the Troops event. On that night, he will look to bounce back from the first loss of a career when he faces hometown fire Braydon Akeo, and that man is known as Tywan Claxton. Mr. Air, sir, thank you for the time before your bout coming up in Honolulu. I believe it's next week.
Yes, it is. No worries. Thanks for having me.
Now, before we talk about your fight coming up, I want to go back to your featherweight Grand Prix fight with Emmanuel Sanchez. Now, there's been a lot of hype around your run in Bellator, and understandably so, because you've been really impressive. The wildest matchup in that entire first round to me was your matchup with him, just because of the huge difference in experience level. And you were only in your sixth fight, he's like in his 20 something. It's a tough matchup for someone in their sixth fight, probably outside of Pitbull. They gave you one of the very tough matchups. Sanchez is hugely underrated fighter, and no one even beats him easily. Not even Pitbull beat him easily. When you went into that fight, what was the game plan for you, and where do you feel you were going to give him a lot of problems? Was it simply in the fact that you felt you could out wrestle him like you did in the first round of that fight?
Yeah, so the game plan was to flank him. I knew he was going to come forward. The game plan was to flank him. The game plan wasn't enough. He was a better fighter than I gave him credit for.
Okay.
He was a better fighter than I gave him credit for. I did not respect him enough. And that's something that's on me. However, as you said, they gave me the guy that just fought for the damn world title.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They don't,
crazy.
But at the end of the day, I learned so much from that fight, so much from that Sanchez fight, that I think that was the best fight for me. It was the best fight to put my ego in its place. It was the best fight to make me grow as a martial artist overall. It was the best fight for me to test myself and to see where I stand against Bellator's top competitor.
Right.
And boy, did we learn a lot in that fight. I learned so much from that fight that it not only changed myself, like it not only changed who I am as a fighter, but it changed who I am as a man. It changed like my life.
Wow.
That fight changed my life. That fight helped me grow physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially. That fight, it was a good fight.
Yeah.
It was a very, very good fight for me. And so, I'm thankful for it. But I'll be seeing Sanchez again, and it's gonna be a different story. I got I got respect for that man, but yeah, I'll be seeing him again, and it's gonna be a fucking different story. You can believe that.
And I want to ask you, like, specifically, in terms of learning and stuff like that, because, I'm sure without a doubt you prepared for a hard 15 minutes of action, and you're in great shape. The wrestling background, I'm sure you have no doubt in great shape. But one of the elements, the calling card of Sanchez, is his pressure. He puts on a heavy pressure with technique, good strikes, and a lot of people are gonna see it and don't really understand, like a guy like Colby Covington who's fighting for the title. That's the pressure. And for you, going into just your sixth fight at the time, how much was that a part of that learning process? Was that something, as much as you can prepare for it in a fight camp, it's hard to deal with when you're in it with someone at such a high level? Like, I talked to Pedro Carvalho also in the Grand Prix. He says that's one of the things he likes to put on people, and that's why he feels he has had success. Pressure. Was his pressure something that why you say you needed that fight? You had to feel it at a high level, because when you get something like that from a unique perspective, it's really tough to deal with.
I think that when I was an amateur, I was ready for that type of fight.
Mm-hmm.
When I was an amateur, I was ready for that type of fight because I was training with those type of guys. Since I've been a pro after my pro debut and I moved back to Cleveland, I haven't been training with guys like that, in a room like that, So my entire fight career as a pro, Yeah, I've had tough guys, but I haven't had anybody that could do that to me. I
Mm.
wasn't training with anybody that could do that to me. Uh, and so I think that's why I was able to wrestle him how I was able to wrestle him, and I should have been able to do that for 3 rounds.
Mm.
But then again, I was coaching myself. I didn't
Wow.
have coaches
Okay.
pushing me. I was my own head coach. I had a striking coach. I had a BJJ coach, and I ran my grappling and things of that nature, my technique, my MMA drills. Uh, Now my striking coach is my head coach. I brought in two of my wrestling coaches to run my grappling, and they've been pushing me, trying to break me. Uh, I went back out to being to hunting for training partners, and when I mean hunting, I mean going to get 3 or 4 college wrestlers and bringing them in. And once one of them breaks, we go to the next one. I went to Shark Tank in my rounds
Mm.
for stand up. I went to Vegas to start this camp off. I started working with Walter Gahaza while I was in camp and AJ Matthews while I'm in camp.
Mm.
Under the watchful eye of Neil Melanson, telling me I look like shit, being honest with me.
Yeah.
Uh, I get back to Cleveland and I go and I say, all right, I need to feel pressure again. I bring AJ Matthews back with me to feel that pressure. We go to the boxing gym, and I go get some sparring in with Montana Love.
Hmm.
We don't know who he is. Look him up. He'll be co-main event on Showtime February 13th.
Mm.
The bad motherfucker. Uh, he put some heat on me.
Mm.
I made some adjustments. Went back again. He still put some heat on me, but it was way more. It was a
Yeah.
completely different story
Right.
from the way that I approached it and how I dealt with it and how I made changes. Uh, I've went to watching film, working on different things like flexibility,
Mm.
opening up my mind,
Okay.
putting putting my career first. Putting myself before my. This sounds fucked up, but before my family.
Yeah. A lot of fighters
All
have
of my
to.
family's needs.
Yeah.
I'm a single guy with no girl and no kids for a reason,
Mm.
and I've kind of dedicated my life to my training, and sometimes family can pull you down a little bit,
Yeah.
uh, slow you down a little bit. Put some of my training partners. I have my own spot, and I have training partners who I allow to come train for free. And sometimes it's like I got to help them grow to push me.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
now it's like, no, fuck that. My career's first.
Yeah.
If you can't push me right now, then I'm gonna go somewhere and get pushed by somebody that can push me right now.
Right.
Uh, you know, and just a lot of growth overall, working on my mentality, getting back to reading, getting back to the mindset of a tech fall mindset of I want to outscore you 15-1. I don't want you to be able to hang with me. I don't want you to be able to compete with me. Who are you to compete with me? And these are things that I got away from. These are things that have made Tywan Claxton.
Mm.
And these are all things that I'm doing again that puts a big ass smile on my face, knowing next week that I get to go in the cage and I get to do what I do best, and that's have fun, and that's impose my will, and that's to make a guy tired, knowing that I won't get tired.
Mm.
It's like I said, that fight was a blessing and a curse. It was a beautiful thing for me.
Now I have to ask then, because it seems like what you're telling me based on how you run your camp, it's almost like a boxing style camp. It's almost it's centered around you. What made you make that decision when you realize, okay, I got to make a lot of changes here? What made you say this is what works for me? Going here, having specific coaches instead of saying going to one of the major gyms where it's everything in one place and all these things, and you have all these different fighters and all these different names, all one-stop shop. What made you make that decision from one or the other?
I've been fighting the same way since I was an amateur.
Okay.
I know how I like to fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I know who the style that I like to fight and things that I enjoy. For me, fighting's personal. I call up my friends and I say, hey, this motherfucker wants to fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you want to help me get prepared to beat his ass. Them are the people that are going to ride with you. Those are the people that are going to tell you you look like shit.
Right.
Those are the people that's going to care. I've been at gyms where it's about the money. They just want the money. No, you can't put your hands in my pocket. I'd rather break bread with people that I know. You know what I mean? I'd rather break bread with people that's going to be around when the fight game is at a low point.
Right.
You know, it's personal to me. I've been fighting my whole life since fourth grade. Fourth grade, me and my friends would go around fighting. High school, middle school, college. Yo, Clax, what you doing? Dude, I'm at home with my girl. We're about to fight the football. All right, I'm on my way. You know, that's how I look at fighting.
Yeah.
You know, I look at fighting as like, me and my friends are going to get ready to come and fight you and your friends. It's personal to me.
Right.
And when it's personal, you know, you get the best out of the people that you train with, and you get the most honesty out of your coaches because it's personal for them. If it ain't personal, it ain't right. You know. So I like to roll with people that's gonna carry the hurt. You know, and that's simply put. I got the team. You know, I know the people that's gonna ride and the people that ain't gonna ride. There were a lot of people that I reached out to help me with that Sanchez fight, to help me train, and you know, a lot of them ain't come through.
Wow.
And the ones that did come through are the ones that are still there now, and that says a lot. And so, like I said, it's personal to me. It's always been personal to me. It's me and my friends want to come and beat you and your friends up, you know, and that's just how I get down, man.
And I like that. Like now, one last question on the Grand Prix: who do you see as like the people you think will probably be in the finals with the guys that are left?
You know, I think you can never count Caldwell out.
Yeah, very true.
I watched him beat Metcalf in the finals. I was like, damn, he cold. He cold. So you can never count him out.
Yeah.
I think Pitbull is a champ for a reason.
Yep.
I think that once you get used to Sanchez's style, you know, he's just another regular pressure fighter, but he's very slick on the ground. He is slick on the ground. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a hell of a division to fight.
Yes. Especially when they give you former title contenders in your first major fight. But, you know, let's move on to Braydon Akeo. You know, we talked about how, you know, you had a big disadvantage in terms of experience going into Sanchez fight. Now, against Braydon, you go in as the veteran with more experience. You know, he only has 3 professional fights, coming off being in the Grand Prix against, like I said, a former title contender. In a way, does this feel like a lose-lose fight? You know, because you will be expected to win. You know, he just based off of his short resume, especially compared to Sanchez, you know, would you have liked a more established name again, or do you look at the Sanchez fight more as like an outlier? That was a big jump up. You learned a ton, and maybe in fight 7, this kind of fight makes more sense on a level.
You know, I think that one, this fight makes more sense. They say experience.
Right.
The guy's got 3 fights. I've got, you know, this will be my 7th fight. It'll be his 4th fight. You know, though that's a typical fight.
Yeah, it's true.
Just because I beat the shit out of people, my quote unquote experience level.
Yeah.
You know, that don't mean that's like a middle schooler playing middle school football, and just because he's good, he's got to go play with the high school kids. You know what I mean?
There's people on JV that go to varsity. You know, that happens all the time.
Right, but it does, and those are should be considered outliers. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, you know, we went for the $1 million prize. Yeah. That's why we took the Sanchez fight, because they put $1 million in my face. put $1 million in anybody's face, shit, I'd go fight Thanos. You know what I mean? But now we're at the point where it's like, all right, dude, we took that hard fight, and now look at other guys. Look at all the other prospects. They ain't fighting. Even McKee ain't fought nobody like Sanchez. Borix hasn't fought anybody like Sanchez. Yeah. Those guys are undefeated at what? 15-0, 12-0, 10-0, something like that. I did it at 5-0. I had half the amount of fights that they had.
Yeah.
So for anybody to say anything about me fighting a guy that I have 3 more fights with, it's like, really? Really? Like, let me fight people around my experience level now. Like, I went out there, I showed that, hey, there's a very small gap between what this guy is capable of doing, and when he figures some things out, he's going to be somebody in this division that everybody's going to be running from.
Now, I want to ask you, too, because, going to that kind of same topic of, this makes sense for you, how far you've been in your career, and it fits more than a Sanchez fight. Do you look at a guy like Aaron Pico and see how he jumped into the deep end right away, and he's had some kind of really disastrous moments as more of a reason, what you went through with Sanchez and seeing what he's going through, to take it slow? Do you feel, you jumped up, because of that, and like you said, it doesn't make much more sense seeing what he went through. You know what? Let me get some more fights under me before I take that big jump again, because I'm not far away. Let me get 2, 3 more fights. Let me take it slow, because Aaron Pico is not taking it slow at all.
I definitely think it makes more sense for sure.
Yeah.
But I will say this. You can't compare Pico's fight to, once again,
it's crazy, that matchup. Crazy.
Once again, Pico fought, who was the first guy that he lost to?
Well, he lost his first fight, yeah.
Who's that? Who was the preacher?
I forget his name, but I mean, he's fought some guys like Higo. I mean, but then Corrales was kind of like what you got on a level, like a huge experience jump, and that didn't go well for him either.
Right, Corrales, Borix.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Borix.
But hell, look what Sanchez knocked out Corrales' team.
Yeah.
And the way there's a loss is a loss. A loss is a loss. Yeah. But there are ways that you lose.
Very true.
There are levels to a loss. And I feel like even against somebody that put him out in a devastating fashion, and then a guy that did something devastating to that guy, we can play this guy, beat that guy all day. But at the end of the day, no prospect has taken that type of leap with my experience and have come out of that fight how I came out of that fight. Look at that fight. Rewatch that fight, man.
I did.
Some shots in that fight. I gave some shots in that fight.
Yeah.
It was a fight.
Yeah.
and it was against a tough guy, a guy who's done, devastating things to tough people.
Mm-hmm. And
like I said, there's levels to losses. But at the end of the day, if I wanted to walk away from fighting right now, this is my schedule. I wake up, I train, I go to a coffee shop, or I'm at home and I code, and then I go and train, and then I code. That's what I do. And if I ever decided to stop, if I quit fighting right now, today, I will be able to just code and coach and still live the life how I want to live my life under my terms. And with that being said, I'm going to take my time. I did a lot of traveling last year. A lot of traveling to England, working with Walter, working with different guys, training different places, coding in different places. I do 2 things that I love to do right now. And the only reason, like I said, we took that leap is because they put $1 million carrot in my face, and like I said, I couldn't let it go.
When they offered that fight, did you I mean, I'm sure you got, you take it, whatever it is, the opportunity, but was there a part of you that was like, what the hell are you guys doing? Like, how am I getting Sanchez? So like, and a perfect example in the welterweight Grand Prix, Naaman Gracie for Ed Ruth. Guys on similar level. They didn't throw like Naaman against Paul Daly. You didn't. Did you want to say like, why am I not getting Borix? Give me Borix. I'll take him all day. Like, was there any conversation like that? You're like, look, they're giving me a great opportunity. I got to take it. I can't say anything.
So I hit my I hit my managers up, and they're like, "It's looking like Sanchez."
Oh man!
And I was like, "Fuck it, let's do it." Like, at the end of the day, if I was in a bar, and this is exactly what I told my manager. He said, "How do you feel about that?" I said, "If I was in a bar and Sanchez pushed me, I would beat his fucking ass, and it's that simple." And that's the mentality that I have. If I'm in a bar and you touch me, I'm not gonna ask your record. I'm not gonna ask your weight class. I'm not gonna ask your. We going after it, And Mono, let's make it happen.
Yeah.
It's just kind of how I took it. It's we roll with it, baby. That's what's on them. That's what was destined,
Is that part of the learning curve? Like, what the learning curve is part of you now going, you know what? I can't do the bar thing anymore. I've got a career. I want to make a lot of money. Let me do the fights that are probably best for me. Is that part of the change? Like, let me jump when I'm ready to jump, not when is that's part of it?
At the end of the day, it's like I fight for money.
Exactly. Very true.
So I don't know if you saw the paydays from that tournament, but it was what it was. It is what it is. At the end of the day, we learn. But,
yeah.
But now it's more of, I've got a game plan. I've got a game plan, and I've got this fight and 2 more fights left on this contract. And at the end of the day, the game plan is just to continue to have income coming in. And right now, I have some income coming in from coding, and some income coming in from fighting. And I live well within my means, so I can slow walk it now. I can slow walk it. I can slow walk it, and I can live comfortably for the next few years, and I can grow. And that's just something that everybody's gonna have to kind of just jump on board with. Because at the end of the day, I'll go fucking work for Google. See ya. Simply put.
Yeah.
They pay well.
And
and that's a fact. That's a matter. It's just a reality of it. Like, I want to continue to fight guys with my experience. And continue to grow.
Yeah,
right?
That's a smart thing to do. Yeah, that's a good thing to do. I mean, like I mentioned before, you will be expected to win this fight because, not only your high level, the development level, the experience you have and all that stuff, but, does this, he's going to be the hometown favorite. He's a Hawaiian guy, it's Honolulu. Does this fight pretty much boil down to, considering where he's at in his skill level, it's pretty much not really worrying about what he's going to do fight night and just going in, executing what you have to do, what you've made, the changes you've made, what you've gone. Does this fight simply boil down to, you're not worried, I got to worry about he does this. You're not worried about that. You're just worrying about you and making sure you execute what you got to do.
That's exactly it. I have to be aware of what he does. We don't worry about anybody. We don't worry about anybody or any position. I have to be able to understand what he does, be aware of what he does, and then make adjustments on the fly depending on development.
Right.
and still implement my game plan.
Mm.
But we play ball my way, and that's something he's gonna learn. You know, that's something he's gonna find out. Uh, is that we play ball my way, and so you know, that's what it boils down to.
Yeah,
it boils down to showing him, you know, that we play ball my way. I think, and I think that I will finish this fight. If this fight isn't over in the first, it'll damn sure be over in the second. It won't go 3 rounds. He will resort to wrestling. He will try to wrestle. I'm 100% sure of that. Because now, you know, I've come to the point where I care, but I don't give a fuck.
That's a good headline.
Yeah. You know, I've come to that point. Yeah. You know, in my fight career, it's like I care enough to grow. I care enough to learn. I care enough to adapt and overcome, and to constantly put myself in situations where I'm uncomfortable, and to become comfortable, and to listen. But I just don't give a fuck about who you are and what you think you can do to me. You know, and it's literally that simple for me now. And I got that from that Sanchez fight. I really did.
Now this fight is in Hawaii. Hawaii is a beautiful place. Is this the kind of thing where, you know, going to the not giving a fuck, you know, just whoever, is this the kind of thing where it's like, what's that, Hawaii you want me to fight? Yeah, I'll fight whoever. I'll take a free business trip to Hawaii. Is that the kind of thing? Like, I gotta imagine it could have been Sanchez too, and you would have been like, Hawaii? Y'all gotta pay? Yes, Hawaii, I'll go. Is this the kind of thing?
Hey, you know, a rich man once said, a rich man once told me, he said, listen, player, it's better to get paid to travel than to pay to travel.
Yes.
So we don't turn down fights, period.
Okay.
But we damn sure don't turn down a fight in Hawaii.